They can just see the class on YouTube live, so that really helps people. We have a great class today about dental issues, holistic dentistry, keeping your teeth healthy for life. All right, let's see if it is. For some reason, oh my goodness, what is going on? Says that there we go. I think we're live streaming now. So I think there's just a little bit of a delay. There we go. Okay, warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us and being here. Really appreciate it. And okay. Hello and welcome to your week. Thank you for starting the week with us. We have some wonderful information to share with you. Let's just go ahead and pop that out just for 1 second because we have a few other things. The chat is open. Please remember when you're chatting, we love your chatting and we really appreciate you, but try to also allow others to chat. If you contribute some information, try to make it relevant to the genius, and then take a break and let others respond and participate as well. Okay. We're also going to share the slides for today so that you can follow some of the processes. So if you download the slides, maybe you can repost them every now and then. Maybe Sophie is with us or somebody else can just download those slides and then repost them from time to time. And thank you so much for being here. Now we're ready to get rolling and started. So, okay. Thank you for joining Genius Weekly Training. Anyone can join weekly training. You can invite your friends to join the weekly training, even if they're not Genius owners. Anyone who's interested wants to learn more. Even your potential clients, anybody who wants to join is welcome to join via the YouTube stream or the Zoom link. And it's my great pleasure always to share this information with you. So Lisa, thank you so much. And thank you for spending the morning with us. Really appreciate it. Genius Miracles Hour. Do you need some support? Do you know someone who needs frequencies? We are running frequencies as a group community, as a form of service to our community every single week, Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern time. So if you need help, you need frequencies, you can ask to be part of the class. What we want is people who are live so we can all learn from the case together and we can all be present, hear the voice, the picture. We want to all record it collectively. And then I talk about the case and Mary Sunshine or Mary Williams joins us for that, so that she's our co-host on that. And then we've also had Adina, hopefully will join us on Thursday as well. So it's a great time, can be had by all at our Genius Miracles Hour. You can sign up at biofeedbacksuccess.com/miracles. So biofeedbacksuccess.com/miracles. It's just a way for us to shorten those links. And let's go ahead and put that into the chat, biofeedbacksuccess.com/miracles. And you can join us for that. Okay, Lisa, yes, post that, repost those slides. We really appreciate it. Then on Thursdays at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can come back and join us. We are going to have a podcast. The Energy and Frequency podcast is going to feature someone from outside of our community this week. So we're not going to be featuring a genius practitioner, but we're going to be talking about an expert in sound healing and Kundalini yoga, and that is Rukmani. So Rukmani is going to join us on the Energy and Frequency podcast. If you have a sound healer, vibrational healer, someone you think that is a specialist in energy and frequency technology, something you'd like us to interview them for the Energy and Frequency podcast, please recommend them by sending me a message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. And our energy medicine course comes up very soon on May 19th. Great course. It's going to teach you all the core elements you need to know to better understand what you're doing with the genius. So what is the origin of quantum biofeedback? What is a Hertz frequency? How does it all work? How does it relate to entrainment, coherence, resonance, all these topics we talk about? What are the meridians, the nadis, the marmas? All of things energy medicine and vibrational medicine we will talk about and demystify in this 3-part course. You can still sign up for it. It starts on May 19th and has another really simple link, which is biofeedbacksuccess.com/energy. So biofeedbacksuccess.com/energy. And of course, we will repost the slides for today. Please don't get hung up on that. I just wanted you to have that so you'd have the processes. And we will have them for you. We will share them in the follow-up email, which comes out tomorrow morning. And we will also post a link into the YouTube description. So you don't really need the slides, but it does just highlight some of the processes that we're going to be talking about today. So you may want to check them out. For those of you watching for the first time, my name is Ariel Policano. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I've been teaching and training about the Genius for going on 10 years. And the Genius is a quantum biofeedback tool that helps you to learn more about yourself and the world around you. It works via the principles of energy and frequency, and it analyzes your voice. The voice analysis is one of the most valuable and amazing parts of the Genius, and it's something that the developer Ryan Williams is working on perfecting all of the time. So it gets more accurate information, more information that can give you some information about the Genius, about yourself, your voice. And that voice engine has been worked on again and again and again. So the information that you receive is more accurate. The energy medicine course is separate from the Genius. So we're going to talk about all things energy and frequency. Therefore, it is $97 for the 3 sessions. And you can see more about it by going to that link, biofeedbacksuccess.com/energy. So if you want to just learn more about frequency and energy, you don't need to know it. You don't need to take it, but you're interested in the basics of energy medicine, then please join us for that 3-part course. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about, and we'll take some volunteers or a volunteer. So if you have tooth issues, you have something going on with your teeth, you can volunteer in the chat and maybe wait till the end of the lecture because we'll have a lot of chatting before that. So remember, keep your chats. We'd love to have your contribution to the chat, sort of chat a little bit, then let other people participate and so forth. If you have suggestions about dental wellness, you can put them in there, but don't just, put tons of them into the chat. Put 1 or 2 of them into the chat, okay? All right, so when you think about dentistry and the Genius, remember, you always want to think about the root cause. You want to think about things around what is causing the issue, whether it be a cavity, infection, root canal, gum issue, and then we send energy to that particular place. So we could send energy to the tooth. We could send energy to the nerve. We could send energy to the gums. We could send energy to the microbiome of the mouth. So as a Genius practitioner, you are a director of energy. So where are you going to direct the energy? That's what you want to think about when you're creating your recipe, your process for your Genius is where are you going to send that energy? What makes logical sense? So that's what today is really all about, is some basics of holistic tooth care so that you can keep your teeth from birth for your entire life. That's what the teeth are meant to do, stay in your mouth. You can keep them healthy. There's so much misinformation, really. We're only starting to understand now how to really take care of the teeth, what's behind the teeth, how the teeth are connected to the entire body. I mean, I remember learning that for the first time, that every tooth is a living organ and that is connected to other meridians and organs in the body. And it was just, wow, such an incredible moment to realize that the dentists are here. They're just dealing with your teeth. They should be talking about the whole body. So we're going to talk about some of those concepts today. So the field is called biological dentistry, and you yourself, you may want to avail yourself in your local area to a biological dentist. I have always found that a good biological dentist is sort of middle of the road. They're not too extreme. They have good practices, and also they're sort of comparable in price to other dentists, if maybe just a little bit higher. But some of the biological dentists will come up with a treatment plan in tens and thousands of dollars. So just beware that you want to do a lot of due diligence before you consider a biological dentist that you want to become your dentist. The truth is that dentists can do a lot of good. Unfortunately, an uneducated dentist can also do a lot of harm unknowingly and completely within their standard of care. So you want to really take the time to find the very best dentist that understands a holistic approach in your area. We're very blessed in Portland. We have a dentist that works with the naturopathic community and is very well versed in all the different principles of using ozonation, using lasers, and even using biologically compatible adhesive materials, because there are all types of chemicals that can end up in your dental procedure if you don't realize it. Now, we did an entire course on biological dentistry that is available at geniusbiofeedback.com. So if you go to geniusbiofeedback.com and you put in biological dentistry into the search engine, into the search bar, you can find the course that we did where we covered all of these concepts, and we had libraries that went with the course as well, which is the biological dentistry library. So if you're interested in this, you may want to take a deeper dive by getting that particular course. And we'll follow up in our newsletter with the links to all of those good libraries and courses, etc. Now, one of the things we covered in the course was this, and so if you have an infected tooth, it is reverberating to the organ. And if the organ is out of balance, it's reverberating to the tooth. So an example is, let's say tooth number 11. You can see here it's connected to the gallbladder. It's connected to the eyes. So if you're having an infection or an issue in number 11, or it even needs a filling or needs to go to root canal or whatever it is, that is then reverberating to the gallbladder and to the eyes. So it can even have an emotional connection. If your tooth is infected, it's reverberating to the gallbladder. You may have more difficulty making decisions, because being decisive is when you have a very healthy and open and active gallbladder. So those are the things that you can start to connect the dots, and how important and integral the health of your teeth are to the rest of your body. It's absolutely fascinating to learn about this and to begin to become more empowered in your dental health. You should be able to keep your teeth healthy for life. You're supposed to keep all of those teeth. They're meant to be in your mouth from the time you're born until the time you transition into your next dimension. So let's talk about how the principles we need to know in order to do that. It's really about keeping inflammation down in the body, having healthy digestion, which is the main source of inflammation, and of course, good dental hygiene practices. So thinking that we're going to use Colgate toothpaste and our toothbrush is probably not the thing that we want to think about. We want to be really careful about the tooth applications that we use, the type of toothpaste or tooth powder. We want to get educated about this so we understand how to have the best dental hygiene that we can have. So mineralization is incredibly important and not very good in our current climate. And because the minerals are so depleted from our soil. So we need to do something about that when we're thinking about good, healthy teeth. And so I would suggest that you have a lot of good fresh fruits and vegetables in your diet, and also things that you can chew. One of the things that's really instrumental in keeping teeth in your mouth is exercising your jaw. And so if we're not really actively chewing food, hard foods that we can break, so carrots, celery, things like that, are incredibly important. And there's even the raw food founder or mother of green smoothies, Victoria Butenko. She actually came out with this Jawzerciser. I don't think it's in being manufactured anymore, but a Jawzerciser is something you can sort of chew on and exercise, made of silicone. It's a little piece you can put in your mouth and sort of during the day do a certain amount of jaw exercises, and that helps to keep the jaw really strong and also relates to the teeth and the sockets. So that's something you can think about. Of course, alkalizing the body is immensely important, but also there are minerals in the alkalizing greens. So in alfalfa, wheatgrass, barley grass are deeply alkalizing, but they're also mineralizing. Now, remember, when you have these grains, salads, so forth, you want to also take them in or have a little bit of fat. So some flax seeds, ground flax seeds, or walnuts, or something else, maybe some almonds. A little bit of that fat really helps you to absorb those greens into your cells, into the body. So work on digestion. Digestion is the main source of inflammation in the body. So we really want to consciously work on the inflammatory state of the body, because that's going to relate. If you have any issues going on with the teeth, then if you have inflammation in your gut, that's going to exacerbate them. And remember, we've talked about leaky gut. Some of you know that gut permeability can lead to leaky brain, issues with the blood-brain barrier, but also you can think about leaky teeth. So if your gut has permeability, it affects your hypothalamus, your pituitary, your endocrine system, and the teeth that are supposed to be resilient from taking anything into them can end up absorbing, sort of it switches the electrical flow of the teeth, and they tend to take more toxins into the teeth. And this is written about by Nadine Artemis in her book about holistic dentistry. She talks all about this process. So taking care of the nervous system, the adrenals, the hormonal system, the digestive system, managing inflammation, these are all part and parcel of good overall dental health. So mostly plant-based food. If you eat some meat or fish, make it the smaller amount overall of what you take in. Work on your gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome is also going to influence the inflammation in your body and ultimately the health of your teeth. So of course, when you're working on your teeth, you're also working on the microbiome of your mouth. So don't rinse with things like alcohol-based mouth rinses. Those also can be very harmful to the mouth. But there are many different clove, cinnamon, different types of rinses that can be immensely helpful. And a healthy dental rinse without alcohol can really help to get to spots you may have missed when you were brushing. So it's immensely important to have a good rinse. Also, taking fermented foods into your body helps your gut microbiome, then enzymes, and chewing all your food extremely well. Fresh fruits and vegetables, mostly plant-based, some healthy forms of fat. Smoking and alcohol, I don't suppose our wonderful tribe here is a big smoking tribe or a big alcohol drinking tribe, but remember that those two things they're some of the worst for the health, and the people who have the most dental issues by far are smokers, and they're at risk for mouth cancer as well. But also think about the different sugars that you may be exposing yourself to, whether refined sugar, even dried fruit. All these things we have to manage, keep cleaning the mouth if we do take in any of those foods. But an acidic diet is going to lead to loss of minerals in the body. So if you consume a more acidic diet, you don't eat as many fruits and vegetables, you consume more meat, dairy, and eggs, then your body has to alkalize with its own minerals. So it demineralizes the body, including the teeth. And people who may have had a lot of issues when they were kids, it may have been related to your diet. And even as a young person, your body was losing minerals because of the acidic diet. So you have to really work against that with good, healthy minerals and good, healthy dental hygiene. So having raw foods in your diet, like celery and carrots, and you want to be actually actively chewing them for some part of the day to really strengthen that jaw. And it does make a big difference. Now, some things that may seem very, very obvious is the good dental hygiene. So think about how much it costs you to see your dental hygienist. What, $90, $100, maybe $150. Now think about how much it costs you to get even one filling, $300, $400, maybe $250. So think about the differential in price. So schedule your dental cleaning for 6 months or even more often, even every 3 months. Your dentist might think you're crazy, but you're not. What happens is most of us cannot avoid the tartar buildup in our mouths. So some of us can. We'll talk about some of the practices that can help. But at a certain threshold point, the development of tartar and bacteria becomes an exponential buildup. So if there's a little bit of a buildup and then more of a buildup, and then it crosses this threshold, all of a sudden it just goes totally crazy, and you get a huge buildup of bacteria, and it's much more likely that you're going to develop cavities. So going to see your dental hygienist, the hygienist at your dentist's office 4 times a year, it sounds crazy. It's not crazy, because it gives you the very, very best chance of reducing that plaque from your teeth, and also making sure that the dentist can monitor it. Prevention in dentistry is definitely, what an ounce of prevention in dentistry is worth about 50 pounds of cure. Anything that you can do to avoid having a dental procedure is worth it, even if it's just a filling. The minute that the dentist drills into the tooth, he or she changes the integrity of the tooth. It also creates something called an interference field, which affects all the meridians of the body. The less you need dental procedures, the better you are. So daily brushing, an electric toothbrush is really better if you can, and a water pick, and even using both. So the electric toothbrush gives the least amount of vibration and damage to the tooth, but also cleans the tooth the best. So you're not sort of scraping and stressing out the teeth and causing the gum line to recede. So daily flossing, maybe twice a day. Look for natural floss, because there are endocrine disrupting chemicals on some of the commercially based flosses. Use fluoride-free and glycerin-free. So if anything, that all of you smarty pants who came to class and think, I know everything about holistic dentistry and biological dentistry, here's something you may not know or be aware of. Don't use natural toothpaste or not paste or products with glycerin in them. So glycerin, according to Nadine Artemis in her book on holistic dentistry, and she's done a lot of study on this, really coats the teeth. And I've actually felt better since I've avoided all of the natural glycerin-based products. And I even noticed if I have an issue with a tooth, that I actually get pain and sensitivity from the glycerin. So look for something glycerin-free. You can make your own tooth powder, you could get tooth powder, but look for toothpaste and preparations that are glycerin-free. So charcoal is wonderful for absorbing toxins and also being a little bit of an abrasive to clear the teeth. Chlorophyll is wonderful for nourishing the teeth and cleaning them and removing toxins from the mouth. Baking soda is wonderful for cleaning the teeth and alkalizing. Natural essential oils, peppermint, clove, cinnamon. Those of you who are big into Young Living oils, you know all about thieves. Those drops are really powerful and contain everything you really need to utilize to clear infections from the teeth. And then tooth powders, you can keep it simple. I personally like this product called My Magic Mud. If you just go to My Magic Mud, look it up online, it's an amazing website. They've got bamboo toothbrushes. They've got natural activated charcoal-based floss. They've got a colloidal silver toothpaste, and everything is glycerin-free. The only product that used to be glycerin-free was earth paste, and that stuff was horribly tasting. This tastes good. It's a nice formulation. They have turmeric tooth powder. I mean, you'll just have a blast just checking out their website if you're really into taking this type of care of your teeth. Also, another thing I would recommend is oil pulling. You can do regular oil pulling with sesame oil, unprocessed, not toasted sesame oil, Ayurvedic type of sesame oil. You can also get this product called Pure O3, ozonated olive oil, or any ozonated olive oil. This one stays liquid most of the time at room temperature, and it's excellent for oil pulling. So when oil pulling, you swish the oil in your mouth for about 5 or even up to 15 minutes. The ozone then penetrates into the gum line and can really help with the removal of plaque. So it can be incredibly beneficial. So check out the ozonated olive oil. Now let's talk about some genius strategies for balancing your teeth and keeping your teeth healthy for life. In the system overview, you want to focus on minerals, digestion, and hormones, because we want to mineralize, we want to take advantage of as much energies of minerals. Most people are very deficient in minerals, including things like magnesium, which would be instrumental for mineralization of the teeth. So let me say something about bone density. They did a study where they just gave people calcium for building up the strength of the bone. And this would also relate to the mineralization of your teeth. And calcium didn't seem to make too much of a difference. When they added in magnesium, boom, the bone density went up significantly. So there's something about the magnesium that's incredibly important for the buildup of the bone. The same thing with teeth. So think about a magnesium supplement or lots and lots of greens, green smoothie, collards, kale, all of those, alfalfa, barley grass. That's going to give you what you need in terms of minerals, which are so depleted in the soil. And if you read the book by Maynard Murray about sea energy agriculture, he was a doctor all the way back to the 1950s and started to notice even back then that the demineralization of our soil was starting to result in much, much more dental issues even back then. So imagine how it is today. So we want to focus on minerals, digestion to reduce inflammation, hormones, right? Because we want that pituitary and hypothalamus to be healthy. And remember that the pituitary and the hypothalamus play an important part in the direct mineralization of the teeth. When the teeth are healthy, they're resilient, and the flow is sort of resisting any toxic entry into the tooth. When stressed, the process becomes reverse, and it's almost like drinking in toxins into the tooth, and the tooth becomes more vulnerable to infection and cavities. And if you want to read about this, you can see Holistic Dental Care by Nadine Artemis, an excellent book about all of the things that we're talking about today. More genius strategies use body systems, minerals, vitamins, hormones. The Nogiers especially focus on Nogier A, which is specifically for teeth. So you could utilize it in your balancing or even put it up in your quick zap along with 528 and the tooth or teeth frequencies that you want to focus on. So we have libraries that have a lot, one frequency for every single tooth. So you could take that particular tooth and put it up in the quick zap. We also have herbs in the herbs panel for inflammation, right? For basically reducing inflammation, things like ashwagandha, shilajit, amla, gynostemma, and more. You can include the solfeggios, 528 hertz for transformation and miracles, but 285 hertz is to restore tissue and organs, and the tooth is an organ, to its regular frequency. So you can use 285 and 528. 174 hertz is good for pain reduction. So if you have a pain or an issue going on with your tooth, you can use 174 hertz. Meridians, of course, the meridians are connected to each one of the teeth. So you could use the meridians. Place all of these in the main whole tray, and of course, go to Progressive Insights and balance the high items for 15 minutes. Now, some comments about biological dentistry, and we'll talk about the libraries for biological dentistry briefly, and then we'll get to our case. So in just a moment, not yet, I'll ask for volunteers. Just hold on because we're having a lot of activity in the chat, and in just a moment, I'll ask for volunteers. So biological dentistry in a nutshell. If you have silver fillings in your mouth, and I know most of you probably have had them removed by now, but if you still have them, please consider having them removed by a biological dentist that knows how to do mercury removal with the proper dental dam and even a ventilation system so you don't swallow any of the mercury or inhale any of the mercury. They know how to do that extremely well. Have the procedure done with ozone and laser. And any procedure, a filling that the biological dentist does in your mouth, whether it be a filling, root canal, or removing mercury, look for one that uses ozone and lasers, because these will greatly reduce the chance of infection, but also will reduce any inflammation after the procedure, and you'll find you have less pain and heal a lot faster. Find a biological dentist that understands about biological compatibility and even works with healthy adhesives and dental materials that are more compatible to human beings. A lot of dentists don't know anything about this, so we want to find the really educated dentists that know about this. Now, with root canals, there's a lot of controversy about root canals. I don't think a root canal is exactly related to all of the hysteria and fear that there is about it, but I do think there's legitimate concern. The one thing I'm opposed to is the sort of, hey, let's just pull the tooth. If you can keep the tooth, the whole goal of a root canal was to keep the bone structure by keeping the tooth in your mouth. So if you can keep that tooth, it has a lot of value. So you can even get a root canal procedure done by a biological dentist that will take care of the tooth, disinfect it, laser it, so there's less likelihood of having an infection. And then they can do ozone treatments over time to make sure that you don't have the bone loss around the tooth. But a root canal is a dead tooth, and you no longer know if you're having pain, if there's an infection, so it needs special attention. You can even ask your biological dentist to do imaging over time, which is a CT scan every couple of years, to make sure that there are no emerging issues with the root canal. A root canal can last for a significant amount of time. The more you have the teeth in your mouth, the better off you are. Now, if you need to go to a last resort, or if a root canal fails, or if you just really don't want to have a root canal in your mouth, then you can have an extraction. An extraction is not a fun experience. It's very, very traumatic. Beyond it being a traumatic experience, you actually lose the tooth, so you can end up losing bone. Now, an implant can be very, very helpful in helping you to keep the bone, but it still is not as good as your own original tooth. But it is exceptional if done correctly. And an implant versus a root canal can last for your entire life. And it can be a great solution for those who need it. So they generally know that root canals may fail with time. That's what they say. But implant will be for a very, very long time. Look for a dentist that does not do titanium. We don't want metals in our mouth. So the next best thing is zirconia. So look for a dentist that's familiar with doing a zirconia implant, the least invasive, the least reactive in your mouth. Now, we did do a biological dentistry course that expands on all of this, and it's at geniusbiofeedback.com. Just look for biological dentistry course, and we'll link it in the follow-up email. So, but let's talk about the actual libraries that we did for this that were based on the course information. And things that you could do is you can look at the dental anatomy, being the parts of the tooth and also the individual teeth, and then harmonize, send energy to each tooth. And then by testing the teeth, by no means diagnostic, we can find out which tooth is the most reactive and balance it on a regular basis. So in this particular series, we include minerals, because keeping the teeth mineralized is crucial. The first one is the dental anatomy, actually all of the teeth, and then all of the parts of the teeth, the pulp and the dentin and things like that. Cell salts can be very important, like calcarea phosphoricum, which is calc phos, or calc fluor. Now, fluoride is a totally other issue we can talk about, but most of you are very well versed in the concepts of fluoride and know that chemical fluoride is not something we want to put on our teeth. We get fluoride from eating fruits and vegetables, especially green leafy vegetables. We can get all the calcium fluoride that our teeth need. Healthy teeth come from good mineralization of our teeth. Also, endocrine balance. Remember that a lot of stress disrupts our hypothalamus and pituitary, and we need to have them balanced in order for the teeth to be resilient to anything. We don't want to drink in the toxins and poisons into the teeth. Practices and affirmations, good things to use on your teeth. Clove. You could use hydrogen peroxide. You can even use MMS if you know what that is, and that can be very good if you have an abscess or an active infection. You can get lasers to use on your own teeth, low-level light lasers. Neem oil, sea buckthorn berry, ozonated oil pulling, sesame oil pulling. We talk about all these in the course, and they're also in the library itself. So you can find out which of these is best for me today, and you can also just run the frequencies of them. We also do, so if you need to have a root canal, you could also send energy to the root canal. Why not? So we have this activate the odontoblasts to protect the teeth, clear all infections, inflammation decrease, use ozone to encourage healthy healing, preserve bone health, reduce inflammation system-wide to assist with healthy healing, and so on and so forth. You can send energy to anything that's going on and send the energy through the right frequency, through the right library, whatever it is, and just think about what is the root cause, what's happening, and then send the energy to those particular parts, the teeth, the dentin, the bone, etc., the nerve. Infection clearing and gum health, allicin, hyssop, podiarco, Oregon grapefruit, clear infections from the gum line. Biofilms are a big part of infection and cavities in the teeth. So you could use a biofilm chelator, and it really works in the gut too. But things like a water pick would be really good for clearing biofilms. So water is a pretty good way to clear the biofilms, which tend to get entrenched at the gum line. You could even use your Genius after a dental procedure, whether it be having a cavity filled, which is still traumatic. It's traumatic in that you're going to change the integrity of the tooth. Also, most people get an anesthetic. So what happens when you get an anesthetic? Liver, kidney stress. You want to hydrate afterwards, maybe even cleanse the next day. Take dandelion, milk thistle, herbs for your kidney, things like that, because these all have effects on the body that dentists never talk about. Oh, it's fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So you could also use homeopathy, right? Arnica, hypericum for the nerve of the tooth, and all of these different frequencies. There are rife frequencies that can really help with the teeth. And we've put some of them into our libraries, or you can look them up online about the different rife frequencies for the teeth. The new avenue in dental health is going to be stem cells, or maybe we can even grow back our teeth. For now, we can try using energetic stem cells. So stem cell DNA repair and regeneration. Look into a telomerase activator like TA65, which is a form of astragalase. Very, very powerful. If you look into that, you may be able to heal your body faster and even age at a slower rate. So these are concepts for biological dentistry that we covered in the course, and then we put them into libraries, but anybody can, of course, utilize these concepts. So now I'd like to ask for volunteers if you'd like your teeth to be worked on, so we can talk more about it, talk more about maybe some issues that you're having, and showcase how you can do this type of balancing with the Genius. So once again, the Genius is amazing in that you could really work on vision, work on hearing, work on dental issues. And the main barrier is really sort of understanding the physiology behind what is happening and some of the basic concepts. Then you know where to send the energies. So that can be immensely powerful. So let's go ahead and get a volunteer. If we're volunteering, then please go ahead and put your date of birth into here. And remember, if we have an urgent issue and we don't work with you here, you could also come to the Genius Miracles Hour. So if you're volunteering, please put your date of birth. That will be the decider, is your date of birth. Okay, Lisa, you were first. So we'll go ahead and work with you. So that's Lisa F. So Lisa, we're going to bring you up here in just a moment. Just be ready for that. And we're going to go ahead and just think of all the different things that we need to know about this particular issue that you may want to share with us in just a moment. Let me just get everything entered for you before we bring you up here, and we'll be ready to go. We could do this all day long. Honestly, we could just do one person after the next. And it's really fun, just a marathon of working with the dental issues. It's really fun because you can see all the differences as you begin to test people in the different things that come up. But it's everybody, try doing some dental balancing, try to do some of the holistic practices. You should be able to maintain teeth in your mouth, your entire life, and not knowing some of the basic concepts, I think, is what keeps people from really keeping their teeth healthy. And so we were able to talk about some of them today, especially mineralization and alkalization. They will go a long way. You will start to experience some of the benefits of that. So let's go ahead and invite Lisa up here so you can join us. And remember, if we didn't work on you today, come over to Miracles, come up to the Genius Miracles Hour. Maybe we can work on you there. So we're going to bring you up here. That should just take a moment. And thank you everyone for joining us. And we do have the slides. So Lisa, this would be a great time if you can repost those slides so people can review those. Okay, Lisa, how are you? And let's make sure your microphone is on. And you can, hopefully we'll get some sound for you.
There we go, sorry.
Oh, Lisa, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much.
And tell us all about what we should work on tell us your current situation.
I think after I had 3 kids, I became anemic, and I think that really impacted my tooth health, my mouth, pH. And so I've been having issues ever since that. I just went to the dentist to get a filling, and it was with the back top left molar. And all of a sudden they said, oh no, you need a root canal and a crown. And so that just kind of put everything of my emotional state into high alarm. And then he was looking at my
understand.
Right. And then he was looking at my other teeth and then saying, oh gosh, you have a very acidic system, and are you doing this right? And I thought, oh my gosh, I need to, just really go in there and really get into more self-care with my teeth. I've been taking care of others for so long.
Of course. So did you say the main precipitator was after a pregnancy?
Yes.
And so hormonal changes in any time of life can have a significant impact on the health of your teeth. It's one thing we didn't get to touch on. So that's so interesting. And what's your current regime? Or just so you could tell some general comments, was anything new in our lecture here that you would consider that might have, sort of said, oh gosh, maybe that's why the acidity or that's why the mineralization?
I've been doing the electric toothbrush, although I got a new one just because I think the charge wasn't substantial. But I've been using the water pick. I think hydration is good. I think when you're talking about making sure that you chew a lot, I've been doing more liquid diet or raw. So I haven't been really utilizing my chewing function and, in eating. So I think that's really important. I think incorporating to, magnesium would be very helpful just with stress and seeing
maybe
toxins.
It's interesting that he said alkalizing, because you're doing a lot of alkalizing things. It's hard, maybe it's just the stress. Stress can create a lot of acidity, and if you're very, very busy, the stress could be an issue. Let's go ahead and get your voice recording. We'll dive into it and we'll see what we see. Okay, so I'll start recording your voice in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
A, E, I, O, U, Lisa Fulkerson, dental and tooth health.
Okay, just some hints on that. What you can do is you can really get your voice, get a lot of your voice recording. So just like, my name is Lisa, A-E-I-O-U, 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 over and over again. And then also, you can even state an affirmation. Just try to get as much of your voice into that 15 seconds. The more voice that you have, the better the analysis will be. Good to know. Yeah, so this is, it's always good to share some of this. And I know you do know a lot. I remember you were in our trivia last time and you actually knew quite a bit, which was impressive. Let's see if we can get this. And beautiful, fantastic, love it. All right, we are going to work on you and we'll let you just enjoy it. So we'll come back and talk with you in just a little bit. Does that sound good?
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we'll come back and we'll talk with her in just a little bit. And let's see what we can see here. Okay, there we go. All right, there was a great question in the chat, and thank you everybody for your comments. And we'll look at some of the things in the chat as well. Like the chat, I love the repartee of the chat today. And Lisa, the thing to post is actually the PDF. I don't know if you downloaded the slides or if maybe you're posting those as well. Thank you. You're so lovely and appreciate you doing that. So if you can post the slides again, you may have already done that. So all good. So there was a question about when you get an extraction, I think this is the question, they usually have to do a buildup, and they tell you we're going to use a bone graft, which is a cadaver bone. It doesn't have any influence on you. It doesn't affect you in any way. Now, amazingly, the biological dentist that I work with had a very special alternative to that. And he uses, it's not exactly this, but it's going to be close, platelet-rich plasma. So before you get an extraction, you can donate some of your own blood, and the elements from the blood are then utilized in order to create the effect of the buildup, similar to the bone graft. So it is interesting that you visit with so many dentists that say, oh, this isn't it. No, there's no reason. There's nothing wrong with this. And intuitively, you may think the energetics of a bone graft of a cadaver does not resonate for me. And so find a dentist that can do this platelet-rich procedure. And the reason that my biological dentist started doing it was for people who were having autoimmune reactions to the bone grafting. So something to think about. There's so many things to dive into and think about this. We'll just repost the slides from here in just a moment. Let me just go ahead and post them again. So here are the slides from today. And of course, we'll include them in the newsletter, so please don't stress, but we did cover a lot of information, and I wanted the procedure, the process that we talked about, that it would be easy for you to access so you can see it in the slides. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the aura. We'll continue to answer any of your questions that you have, but this is such a big topic. You can dive deeply into it. The more that you dive into it, the more empowered you become, and it just has instant reactions for your own dental health, which is going to save you your teeth and also a lot of money. So you really can be sort of your own dentist in a lot of ways. Okay, so the cloud above there is some worry, some stagnation, some digestive stuff going on there. So we want to see that clear up. So in general, there's some depletion. So these are things that she referred to, because we don't see a lot of strength in the colors. We don't see a lot of vibrancy in the colors. So you can sort of directly relate it, what you're seeing, to that person. And so we do see some blue, right? Blue would be working on that throat chakra, but it's very mild. There's not a lot of color to it. And then we see some pink up there. Now that type of pink could also be pain. It could be sleep issues. It's usually some type of stagnation, pain, something the person is trying to deal with, not related to the same pink that we talk about with the crown chakra. So we took a screenshot of that. Now let's go ahead and look at some of the things that we mentioned. So we talked about, let's look at digestion, and let's see what's going on with digestion. The need for enzymes, the small intestine, the liver, the stomach, the pancreas, and the mouth. Isn't that interesting? So enzymes, when we take digestive enzymes, it frees up other metabolic enzymes, which could be affecting the health of the mouth as well. So let's go ahead now. Let's look at the minerals themselves. And we see cobalt, iodine, lithium, vanadium, phosphorus, molybdenum, potassium. So let's do all of these as well. Now we don't see magnesium, but I'm going to include it anyway at 598. But there are a lot of minerals showing up. So it's interesting that you've been doing a lot of juices and raw foods. There may be an absorption issue. The enzymes may really, really help. So look into like Premier Research Labs Digest, or some really good full spectrum digestive enzyme. I think that might be needed, and it might help with breaking down some of the foods for better absorption and just absorption in general. We did see small intestine. So also work on your stomach acid and make sure you're doing something, maybe apple cider vinegar or bitters, to really prime the pump of your digestion and make sure you're getting enough digestive fire in your belly. And a lot of stress and hormones and birth and all these things would tend to put out the digestive fire. So that could make a big difference. Then we talked about hormones. So something going on with estrogen, we're still balancing those estrogens, that can make a big difference. And estradiol sort of underlining the issue. So it could be that there's too much estrogen. We're not breaking it down as well as we could. Think of things like indole 3-carbinol, calcium D-glucarate, things we've talked about in the different hormonal courses. Let's include all of the other ones. Wow, she's got the triple there. Estrogen, estriol. Sometimes estriol is too low and estrone, the strongest estrogen, is too high. Well, we covered that a lot in like I said, in the most recent hormonal course when we looked at the different labs that we saw a lot of that estrogen dominance going on. Now we talked about we want to look at the herbs. So we want to see if there are any herbs that can be used to reduce inflammation. There we go, Shilajit. And let's see, and also you want to use the adaptogenic herbs as well. Burdock would be good, not as an inflammation, but for detoxing the liver. And then let's use amla, let's use some cinnamon, and let's use some chaste tree, because that's going to be good for hormonal balancing, which is going to be important here. Let's check the nogiers and the solfeggios. So nogier A is sort of balanced, but let's include it anyway, as well as D and L, which is for left and right brain balance. Let's include our solfeggios. Remember, we wanted to include 285 for restoring the health of the organs to their original home frequency. And we can also use 528. Remember, 174 is for pain reduction. So if there was pain, we could actually include that as well. Now let's go to the dental libraries. So we're going to look at the ones over here under biological and dental anatomy first. We're going to go through this pretty quickly, right? Because it's sort of at the end of the hour. But tooth 7, tooth 8, 12, 27. So you can get, and we included this in the course, a standard dental chart so you can see where in the mouth these teeth are located. They could be infected. They could maybe not be infected. But so often when we test these, it is directly related to issues people know are going on with their teeth. So didn't she say the crown of the tooth? Well, she said she probably needed a crown, but that could relate to the actual crown portion of the tooth if it's infected. And then we see the tooth number 9, number 11, number 22. This could be anything. This could be the start of a small cavity. It could be an issue at the gum line. It could be just an issue of buildup of tartar. That's the cool thing about the Genius, is it's going to give you the patterns and the leading edge, things that are happening that we can't even detect in a dental exam or maybe on a digital x-ray. And so it gives you an advantage of being able to have the knowledge about it, to focus on those areas and also send energy to them. So we see the cementum, which is part of the teeth, the gum line. So that water pick, and often, people have the different electric toothbrush, the water pick. We're not always using it all the time because we're busy. And typically when we do the dental routine that we have, we want to take more time. So make sure that you're running out the door first thing in the morning. Oh my gosh, I don't have time. Or right before you go to bed. Oh, I'm exhausted. I just can't wait to get this over with. So try to make a separate time where you're really putting that time in, because it's going to take a while to do all the things you need to do. Electric brush, water pick, rinse, all of the things, oil pulling. Really make the time to do that ritual. It will pay off for sure. A lot of us just don't take that time, put that time, just like she said, she focuses on everyone else, put that time onto yourself. Then we have the mineralization. So manganese, the cell salts, silica. I think cell salts are very instrumental to the strength of the teeth. They're the different elements. They're the exact mineral that is related, because there's a lot of the calc phos, calc fluor. So I think the right cell salt could be instrumental to the good health and density of the teeth, the resilience of the teeth. Bioplasma, that's overall, bioplasma is not one of the original cell salts, but it's a composite of all the cell salts. It's like been likened to the plasma of your blood. Look into the cell salt. There's no downside to taking cell salts. If your body doesn't need it, it just won't utilize it. But bioplasma is very good when you have depletion, when you feel depleted. So if she's having some depletion, the bioplasma can really be a great pick-me-up. Let's look at 3. Endocrine balance, emotional stressors, the parotid gland. This is the one that produces the saliva. So saliva is instrumental to good mouth microbiome, balancing blood sugar. So if blood sugar is too high, it's going to deplete the the immune system in your mouth, mineralization of teeth supported by the body. So she needs to make some type of a change and shift in the body to better support her teeth. And this is maybe what her dentist was referring to. Hypothalamic balance and harmony. That's what we talked about, exactly what we talked about with the Nadine Artemis approach, to make sure that we're not drinking the toxins into our teeth, that they're pushing things out. Correct fluid reversal, it's the same thing. Clove as a wonderful herb. Now, clove is an amazing herb for your teeth. Really good at dealing with dental infections. That's why it's in all of the Thieves formulations. And neem oil. So it's an Ayurvedic, it's used in Ayurveda. And what used to happen is indigenous people would chew on the neem bark for the health of their teeth. So neem oil, amazing. Neem powder, use all those. And what I would recommend is sort of switching things up. Sometimes use neem, sometimes use chlorophyll, sometimes use charcoal. Have some different tooth powders in the mix. Okay, just decline that. Okay, so if you have a sore tooth, taking the silica homeopathic will take away the pain. Great recommendation. Number 4, practices and affirmations. Salt water rinse. So easy to do. Can't emphasize it enough. Helps to kill off infections. Of course, you know about the salt water gargle. Sesame oil pulling. So the cool thing about this is it really shows all of the things that she needs to do in particular that would have the most positive benefit. Gentle gum brushing, so the electric toothbrush over a handheld one. And also an affirmation, because sometimes we want to do good habits, but our subconscious mind kind of upends us. So I now take all actions, conscious and subconscious, to support the health of my teeth. So we need to cover it from all bases, right? My magic mud, check out the My Magic Mud. Socket oral hydrogel. We could have a whole conversation about that, but there's certain herbs in this socket oral hydrogel that are great for after procedure. My gums are healthy and resilient. Hydrofloss, which is like a water pick. Hydrogen peroxide. So the hydrogen peroxide breaks down to oxygen and kills off any infection. So you can get oral grade hydrogen peroxide. Infection clearing and gum health. So there may be some infections in there. Neem, hyssop. Infections at the gum line. So you see how powerful this is in raising your awareness. We're not getting to the infections completely at the gum line at this time. Procedure recovery. This may not apply. We'll just include it. Oxygenate the cells with a right frequency. Oh, this is really not helping me. There we go. Okay. All right. And then let's see, the last one, stem cells. So increase the adaptation to oxidative stress. So there's still some oxidative stress, and there may be also some emotional stress that's contributing. Regenerate and optimize the microtubules. So these are teeny tiny conductors of nutrition and hydration into the tooth. And this is the problem with a root canal. We won't get into the discussion about the microtubules, but even down to the microtubule level, with the Genius, you can send energy to those microtubules to make sure you get the right transmission of nutrition and clearing waste from the tooth. Each tooth experiences regeneration. I love that one. So then we would also include, of course, any Bach flower essences, emotions. Remember to always add that element into what you're doing. So we would go to the mind, get those Bach flower essences in there. Red chestnut is worrying about loved ones. Oak is exhaustion. So all of those kind of line up for her. Let's see what comes up at the very, very tippy top for her. Nogier L, tooth 7, tooth 27, small intestine, working on that digestion. Peppermint essential oil. You could even just take a drop of that and put on a Q-tip and just get it around the mouth. Increase adaptation, oxidative stress, tooth pain reduction, arnica, estrogen balancing, gentle, let's see, my gums are healthy and resilient, stem cells, etc. A lot of things lit up for her. Let's go ahead and balance that for a minute while we read comments, and then we'll wrap it all up with a bow. We'll bring Lisa back on in just a moment to talk with her. And the libraries are on the site. Go to geniusbiofeedback.com and put in biological dentistry, and you can find all of those libraries there. And we'll also follow up with that in the follow-up email and list them in the YouTube recording. So Sheila says, I use toothpaste available at East Indian Market. So just make sure it doesn't have any glycerin in it and you like the other things that are in that. Could be a very pure and wonderful. It's probably very inexpensive too. All right. Okay, so we just reposted the biological dentistry PDF. I did a PRF after extraction. So she did the platelet-rich plasma, but I still had bone loss. So I waited too long as I wasn't sure I wanted implants. That's the issue, is that if you do get the platelet-rich plasma, you have to do the, I think you have to do the implant pretty quickly after that. Listen, these are very complex issues that need to be discussed with a biological dentist that really, really knows what they're doing. And there is, it's the IOAMT.org, and I forget the exact, it's like the Association of Biological Dentists, and we certainly can include that link. And this organization is extremely reputable, and people who study and get accredited by this organization are usually excellent biological dentists. So somebody probably posted that already. What's wrong with glycerin? Why avoid it? I have some in my herbal remedies for kids who don't like alcohol. Thank you, Dee, the IAOMT. So if you go to IAOMT.org, I knew you'd know about it. You can find out more about the different accreditations they have for dentists. So I don't think glycerin is necessarily wrong in an herbal remedy, but I do think taking it and because you're going to brush your teeth after like taking the herbal remedy or at night, but I do think taking the glycerin is, because it's a form of sugar, it's a modified form of sugar, that there is some element that it coats the teeth. You know, what I would do is I would recommend that you try toothpaste with glycerin in it, and then try for a week toothpaste or tooth powder without glycerin, and you determine how do you feel before and after. And you make the decision. Maybe you can test, create a library or put it into synergistics and see if it resonates for you. But I'm not opposed to glycerin in natural herbal supplements. I think that's fine because you're going to swallow it, you're going to brush your teeth afterwards, that type of thing. I know these are very sort of complex issues that we're talking about. Let's bring Lisa back up and see if she had any impression from what we tested her for. So Lisa, we'll go ahead and invite you back up here. And thank you so much for being part of our class today. And we're going to tie everything up with a bow in just a moment. Okay, so, all right, Lisa, are you there?
Yes, thank you.
Any thoughts?
Oh, I just feel a whole sense of relief. I mean, huge relief after doing this mini session emotionally.
Oh, good.
And I could feel just lightness, yeah, in my crown chakra, my head, my jaw area. So,
good. No, that's wonderful. I'm so glad. We'll work on yourself with
yes.
some of these, and you just gain a new awareness. You can see what's clearing up. You can see what's coming up. You can see which remedies to use. It's sort of encouraging. You can imprint it into water and use that to rinse your teeth. Or you can imprint your rinses. There's all types of different, options.
Good. Perfect. No, this is really helpful to go through each one and for you to show me, the different things that will be really helpful to do.
Yeah, and it did really reveal that you're still in sort of a state of depletion. So look into some of those wonderful adaptogenic herbs, holy basil, rhodiola, shilajit, Siberian ginseng, all the things that can sort of bring your energy up. And that will help your overall immune system and just your overall system to be more resistant to any type of infection and the buildup of the tartar and plaque and things like that.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, fantastic. And you could see the red chestnut was really that focus on worry about loved ones, a lot of your focus going out. So even just mentally, bring your focus back to yourself. It's so important that you are well taken care of and nourished, and then you can better take care of others around you.
Right. Perfect.
Okay, Lisa, thank you so much for volunteering.
Thank you.
Today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate this so much. Appreciate it.
Send me your email. I could send these frequencies to your capsule if you'd like.
Oh, I'd love that. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Perfect. Okay, great. I just did of the solfeggios. I just did a minute of the solfeggios really quickly. That might have been me, Lisa. Let me just try to stop your video here. This may have been my fault.
I think I had a call come in. So yeah, no, you're good.
Okay, there we go. Technology is always awesome. All right, so, but look what happened even just in a minute of the solfeggio. So just think of that. You could put all 9 solfeggios in the quick zap, Lisa, and just run them for yourself if you're not even thinking like, how can I balance this all at one time? I just want to give her one more minute while we're sort of finalizing here. So, be careful about what biological dentists say to you about what you need to do, what you need to pull, get second opinions and things like this. This is a complex place to work, and be gentle with yourself and do procedures in the spring and summer. Don't do big procedures in the wintertime when it's cold and you're already stressed and your immune system is stressed. If you usually with a filling is not an imminent thing. If you can schedule it more in spring and summer, it will be better for you. Remember that every dental procedure has an effect on your body. And if your kidney and liver is not strong right now, do some herbs, acupuncture to get your kidney and liver really strong before you do the procedure. Now, we're not going to have time to talk all about cavitations. It's really, that is a super advanced issue. So I'm not going to comment on it right now. But you may want to check out the biological dentistry course where we did talk a lot about these complexities. And V, thank you so much for your comment. She says the dental libraries are amazing, makes the tooth less sensitive, seems to tighten it back into the gum, and makes the bite better, not to mention pain relief. I run them often. Thank you so much for that comment. Maybe we can get you to post that as a review. I really do appreciate it. I just want to see what her aura traveled to after another minute of the solfeggio frequency. So let's go ahead and take a look. You can check out more of these at geniusbiofeedback.com and to learn more about the dentistry libraries we have available. And we'll also post them into the newsletter, make them available in the YouTube comments. Wow, really interesting. Now she went from that. Let's look at her progression so far. And then, like I said, we'll wind things up for today. So she started here, really interesting. And you could see all the different stagnation and frustration, things like that. Then we moved into this. So we did a lot of the dental frequencies. Solar plexus and digestion starting to get better. A lot of that brown cleared out. We're starting to get more, see that second chakra energy. We're starting to get more of a vital force starting to respond in this particular aura. So look at the difference. Depletion, not a lot of color, starting to move into more red, orange, yellow, more color, more vital force. Then we did 1 minute on solfeggios, some little clouds in there. We get a lot of green, reconnection to the heart. The solfeggios are so powerful. I used all of them, all 9 of them up in the quick zap. Then we get to this one after another minute and more vital force. It's almost like the whole system is warming up. So never doubt the power of the solfeggios. After you've done your regular balancing, you can end your session for your client with all 9 solfeggios for 1 minute, 5 minutes, whatever it might be. Thank you so much for being part of our class focusing on dental issues and keeping your teeth for life. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. This will be available immediately on YouTube. And please join us on Thursday for Miracles Hour. Please join us for the podcast. Check out the energy medicine course and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye for now.